Hey, Joshua, how are you doing today?
I'm super excited to be here. Thank you so much for having us.
It is really our pleasure. I think there's a little bit too much maximalism happening, right, in the community in general, across the entire blockchain or cryptocurrency community. Ethereum maxis, Bitcoin maxis, probably some mobile coin maxis. When in reality, I feel like there's a lot of technologies all working together, all pushing or pulling in the same direction to help re-decentralize the web, as we heard earlier, and make life the way I think a lot of us thought it could be 20 or 30 years ago when this evolution or revolution started with decentralized networks. So really looking forward to hearing your talk today, and we'll probably chat for a little bit after.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. All right. I guess we're going to have the presentation go live. Is that correct? Here we go.
Yeah,
Cool.
so go ahead.
My name is Josh. I work at a company called MobileCoin. MobileCoin is cryptocurrency designed to be used. So who am I? I started MobileCoin 4 years ago. I am a high school dropout. I worked in telecom for about 10 years. After that, I got started in cryptocurrency around 2016. I found myself having read Satoshi's white paper in 2009. And there I was in 2016 asking myself why I was not in Bitcoin, despite the fact I had intimate knowledge of how the thing worked 7 years prior. And so that is how I got into cryptocurrency. And it's been a bit of a rocket ship since then. So what is MobileCoin? MobileCoin is new payment technology. And the real question is, why do we need new payment technology? Venmo exists, PayPal exists, Visa, Alipay, all these things exist. Why do we need something new? Payments are about trust and convenience. Trust used to be double entry accounting. This is essentially the way that the world worked from the 1500s when the Medicis invented this technology. This is a system of debits and credits where there's a ledger, and that ledger is typically owned by the counterparties involved. This would be like the merchant and the bank, or the individual in the bank. And today, most of the way that the double entry accounting systems work is that the banks hold the ledger, and we just sort of trust it, and that's kind of the way the world works. But we can do better than this. Trust can be distributed accounting. This is the blockchain and the advent of new technology that Bitcoin brought into our world. But what if we valued privacy? This is one of the main things that people sort of criticize Bitcoin about. The main issue is that if you use Bitcoin hypothetically to pay for a cup of coffee, then that barista can see every transaction you do forever. They can see all the payroll you run. They can see every single transaction that occurs in your wallet. Trust actually can be distributed ledger private accounting. But what about convenience? People aren't willing to just choose privacy over convenience. It's a fact that we've seen with basically every payment technology since the dawn of time. If you want to win, if you want to be part of the zeitgeist, it can't just be better in one way. You have to be better in all of the ways. So convenience really, really matters. And this is the cup of coffee. It's not just about privacy. It's about being able to complete that transaction in 3 to 5 seconds with a lower full cost than any other payment technology that's ever existed. So convenience is speed without sacrificing trust. But what does that actually look like? So to get in this, we're going to get a little philosophical. What is money? There's two kinds of money that exist today, cash and accounts. Accounts are broadly the ledger that is held by the bank, and cash is broadly the ledger that is held by your wallet and the Federal Reserve. So cash, it's a private physical token that has manual record keeping. If I pay for something at a convenience store in cash, it's up to the register or the accountant at the desk, the person who's the cashier, to write down how much cash they received. If it's an account, it's really fast. It's typically digital and it has automatic record keeping. This is every time you swipe a credit card, when you use PayPal, Venmo, etc. But what if we merged these two things together? What if we merged cash and accounts? What if we made digital cash? MobileCoin is fast and private. It is digital with automatic record keeping that you control. So what are the benefits of this new technology? Privacy, scalability, and usability. Privacy. Your transactions are between you and your counterparty. That's it. That means that when you pay the barista, your transaction is only between you and the barista. They can't see anything else you ever do, which is the way that cash works today. Scalability. Most transactions complete in a few seconds, so payments happen instantly, like payments should. That means that if you pay somebody, it takes 3 to 5 seconds, and that's it. I'm sorry about my coffee machine going off in the background. Usability. Easy to use, secure payments everywhere you want them. You open a chat client and transact in seconds. This is the reality of the way that people actually pay today. The punchline is we live and we work on our cell phones. That's where payments need to work for people to use them in the current generation. Best of all, you don't have to carry cash anymore. And that's a real major difference in the world. So what are 3 aspects of this that are really exciting? The network is blind, compliance is provable, and we're fully open source and audited. So what does it mean to be, let's talk about how it works. The life of a MobileCoin transaction. Josh wants to send Rob some MobileCoins. I use a messaging app, I look up Rob's profile, I click on the MobileCoin payments button in the interface, I choose how many MobileCoins I want to send to Rob, and I hit send. Completely in the background, the MobileCoin payment network encrypts the transaction in a way that reveals basically nothing. Rob gets a notification that he's received MobileCoins, and that's, instantaneous. But why? Database leaks, mobile, counterparty risk. Leaks are expensive. Leaks lower customer confidence. Leaks are bad for business. You can just go on the internet and Google privacy leak for any organization, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, everyone on the way down, all the way down to the smallest organizations in the world, they have a database that's at risk. The beautiful thing about MobileCoin is that merchants never hold your payment data, so there's nothing for them to lose. This lowers the cost of payments because this is a huge risk for these organizations. Every time they leak information, it costs them a huge amount of money in fines. And MobileCoin completely eradicates that problem. There's no personally identifying information to hold. Mobile first. This is the way that payment networks actually work in the Far East. They work in Alipay directly in your handset. And that's completely different than the way the Western world works. Right now, MobileCoin works on a cell phone. It's designed for mobile applications, and your phones hold the keys while nodes do the work. This is because mobile phones don't have the processing power to actually interact with a blockchain network at full speed. Blockchains are huge amounts of data. You can't actually store a full blockchain effectively on a mobile phone, but you can on a server. Counterparty risk. Data aggregation, payment fraud, hidden actions. You don't actually know what Visa is doing with your payment data. You don't know what PayPal is doing with your payment data. You don't know what the merchant is aggregating with your payment data across different payments. MobileCoin completely eradicates the risk of your counterparty doing negative things with your payment information. We all want to buy a cup of coffee with digital cash. That's the dream of MobileCoin. MobileCoin is mobile payments you can trust. Secure, fast, and private, just like cash. Thank you.
Thanks, Josh. That was terrific. I think we've got a couple minutes here. I just want to ask, what was what happened at some point in your life to make you think this needs to happen? I need to start a new thing. I need to start MobileCoin. Raise some funding and really go after this.
That's a great question. So I was working at Crypto Lotus, which is a hedge fund that invests in cryptocurrency. And the entire time that I was there, I was vaguely frustrated with the lack of consumer-facing products in cryptocurrency. If you look at the market over the last, really 10 years, there's a lot of amazing technology, a lot of just beautiful tech stacks, but nothing that makes it brain dead simple to use. You want
Right.
something that you can put in your parents' hand and your grandparents' hand and actually have them succeed. Your grandparents know how to use WhatsApp. They know how to use Skype. Those apps are like vaguely complicated, but they've still figured out how to use them because the user experience is really well designed. And in fact, there are digital methods that people have used to send money, Cash App being one of them. And anybody can figure out Cash App because the design of it is so simple. So I think that the broad thing that I wanted to invest in when I worked at Crypto Lotus was a consumer-facing crypto product. Unfortunately, I never really saw one that existed. And so I kept joking, somebody should make a consumer-facing crypto product. And I'd always looked up to Signal because of the way that they have built a consumer-facing cryptographically secure messaging product. And they did that by hiding sort of all of the nasty parts of cryptography under the hood. When you send a message, you don't think about the way that a message is being sent. It just works. And it feels like WhatsApp.
Right.
And so I wanted a cryptographically secure payment system that felt like the Cash App. I wanted it to, to be able to send something with no centralized third party that just worked in a handful of seconds while protecting your privacy. And that was the vision. And it kind of started out as a joke, somebody should make this. And eventually I just decided that I was going to try. And, as a high school dropout and somebody that had never really shipped a software project on my own, like I don't code, I don't write code. It was sort of a daunting thing to do, but I went after it because I thought the world needed it. And it's something that I want to exist. I want digital cash. And I think a lot of people do.
Yeah. And you know what? I think that ultimately comes down to, or leads to a lot of inventions. I want this thing to exist. It doesn't exist yet. And if I don't do it, maybe nobody will. So I'm just going to go ahead and do it. And that's fantastic that you were able to get the ball rolling, I guess, and ultimately make this happen. So thank you, I guess, for getting going down this journey, this rabbit hole, and making MobileCoin happen, because it's, like you said, it's actually usable. And I've got Signal, I've got a UK number. It's I've interacted with it a little bit in Mobot, and as part of the beta testing, and it's been fantastic. So really excited to see more public facing or consumer facing crypto powered applications like MobileCoin, like Orchid. Handshake is out there, and you can register your domain. Just more and more, we're finally getting down this path that I think a lot of us started on 3 or 4 years ago, and it's taken a bit, but we've actually got some very decently user-friendly applications out there, if not incredibly user-friendly, that people can actually use. So thanks again for your time today, and for giving us this talk, and spending a few minutes with us here on Private.
I just want to close and say that I think if you want to make really great consumer-facing products, you have to say no to almost everything. This is a mistake that I think a lot of product managers, a lot of founders make, is trying to kind of stuff the kitchen sink into the product. If you want to make something beautiful, something that's just, dead simple to use, you have to say no to all of the tempting little ways that you can make the product seem like it's better, but not actually create the user experience that people want. You start out kind of trying to make the product you want. And then once you have something to show the world, you have to relentlessly prune the dream into the thing that is the essential part that people actually care about. For MobileCoin, it's pretty obvious. It's just, send payments fast, simple, inexpensive, and do it on a mobile phone as quickly as possible. And, if you hit that dream, maybe that's something that the world really needs.
I think that's a great point for product managers, developers, UI designers, even people who actually have the majority of the input of how these products actually look and feel at the end of the day, regardless of what the community wants. Because I can say, if Orchid listened to every single little bit of feedback that people have provided, it might look like a Frankenstein. Instead, you can make a custom account. You can make an account using in-app purchases. It works. It's slowly been iterating and adding some of those features that people want, but it's taken a lot of time for the team to really figure out, like, how do we do this in a user-friendly way? So I think your point is very well taken.
Yeah, the thing I've learned about software development is no matter how long you think something's going to take, it inevitably takes much longer than you think, even when you take that into account, thinking that it will take longer than you think. And you just have to become disciplined about deciding what the minimum thing is. I can't speak to that enough. There are so many places where there's, you get to 95% and the last 5% takes as long as the first 95. And so, thinking you're done is when you actually can touch the product, when you can actually use the thing. And anything before that is just, you're kind of fooling yourself. So I think the biggest thing that I've learned over the last 4 years is make demos. Make the demos real. Don't ever, fudge anything in a demo. Just make a real demo and actually put it in people's hands and watch them use it. Because you'll learn so much more from somebody playing with the thing that you've made and just questioning all of your assumptions as you watch people be confused by the app that you've made. That will teach you so much more than the hubris of, oh, I've solved this thing in the abstract. Put it in people's hands. Watch them when they use it.
I think that's incredibly wise advice. Piggybacking off of what you just said about 95% taking so long, the rest, the other 5% taking just as long as the first 95%. I've heard the saying before of humankind vastly underestimates what we can accomplish in a year, and then vastly overestimates what we can accomplish in 5 or 10 years. And seems to be very true. Pretty much no matter where we go. So thanks again. I know we are coming up to time here. I'm going to pass things over to Chango Unchained to introduce the next speaker. Josh, thanks again and have a great day.
Thanks so much. Thanks everybody for inviting me. Thanks Seven and Priv8 and Orchid. Take care.
Bye.